Ladies and gentlemen, I am most touched and flattered to have been asked to speak to you at this Remaking Cities Congress. I can only apologise for being unable to join you in person, and I do hope you will forgive this somewhat disembodied appearance. Needless to say, I wish you a most productive few days addressing the critical question of how we can live together harmoniously and in more beautiful surroundings in cities in the 21st century. It is extraordinary to think that it is 25 years ago that I had the privilege of acting as co-chairman of the first Congress here in Pittsburgh, along with David Lewis, who has been such an influential and positive force on both sides of the Atlantic. I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to Carnegie Mellon University's Remaking Cities Institute and the American Institute of Architects for having the excellent idea to reconvene this Congress. Now, I must say I've been quite overwhelmed by the decision of the American Institute of Architects to recognize my own very small contribution to the field of sustainable urbanism with a president's citation. I have to say I'm rather more used to receiving brickbats than bouquets from the architectural establishment, and so it is somewhat reassuring to see that on issues of city building, community engagement and sustainability, we are coming together. I know, of course, that the Institute has been a leader in all of these areas, which makes this citation even more special. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it was over 25 years ago that I set about establishing my foundation for building community. You can perhaps imagine how difficult and dangerous a task it was, but I believed then, as I do now, that the nature of the built environment significantly determines our quality of life. And I therefore wanted to create an organization which demonstrates what it means to build harmoniously and in an environmentally friendly manner. The first chance to put these principles into practice came with Poundbury, an extension to the town of Dorchester, master planned by Leon Cryer together with my Duchy of Cornwall. Inevitably, at the time, not everyone warmed to the principles of timeless sustainable design. Frankly, I was amazed at the extraordinarily vitriolic reactions, particularly as there had been extensive community consultation which achieved substantial local support for a groundbreaking master plan. Yet, having celebrated the 20th anniversary of building works in Poundbury this May, I could report that strategies once considered hopelessly idealistic and not part of the real world by volume house builders are now adding social, environmental, and commercial value. My own interpretation of the neighbourhood formula is simple: a network of legible, interconnected streets which accommodate the car while putting the pedestrian at the centre of the design process. The principle of encompassing work, leisure, shopping, and living within walkable distances, and the pepper potting of affordable housing amongst those on the open market, all the while attempting to restore a sense of harmony, human scale, proportion, and above all, beauty into our everyday lives. All these principles have been used at Poundbury, and all with success. Another project where my foundation has been engaged for a long time is in Swansea Bay in Wales, where we were asked by the local government and BP to help with the whole process of regeneration after the closure of an oil refinery at Llandarcy. Now, as I'm sure you know, most usually these heavily contaminated former industrial sites are cleared, capped and planted with grass, but are not often put back into productive economic or residential use. In Wales, we wanted to do more, and after a decade of planning and remediation, building works are underway for Coed Darcy Urban Village, a new mixed-use town for 15,000 people, and a new knowledge and science campus for Swansea University. We have tried to set a high standard of quality with my foundation's demonstration village, due to become a knowledge hub on brownfield remediation and sustainable development. The need to remake cities can also come from disaster or conflict. My foundation has employed the same principles with some success in places like Haiti, where we undertook the recovery plan for Port-au-Prince after the earthquake. We've also worked of late in Sierra Leone with the Royal Engineers to train young people in rebuilding their own community. My foundation has also been working for 7 years in Rosetown, a slum district of Kingston, Jamaica, which I had visited 13 years ago during an official tour, and then felt I must try and do something to help the residents of this most deprived area, which has been plagued by gang violence for over 30 years. So, working with the local community, we have brought the factions together to work on a common plan to train young people and to start craft-based businesses. We are now moving forward in helping residents obtain title to their homes, to pave roads, ensure access to clean drinking water, and install sewers and drainage, as well as assisting with improved house designs and layout. Such work has, I've been told by the people living there, had a profound impact on their lives and has helped to reduce gang violence. In regenerating local economies and communities, heritage is a vital asset. 6 years ago, along with a consortium of charities, I acquired Dumfries House, a unique 18th century house in East Ayrshire, situated in a particularly deprived area of southwest Scotland. From the start, we intended not only to save the house and its unique contents of original 18th century Chippendale furniture and open it for visitors, but also to use it as a catalyst for wider regeneration, what I can only call heritage-led regeneration, in this severely depressed former coal mining region. Jobs have now been created on the estate by restoring and then opening the house for tours and events, running a cafe and food academy, and hosting teaching and conference facilities. My Prince's Trust is helping to train young people in much-needed practical skills, such as in hospitality and food preparation, while my foundation for building community is doing the same in a whole range of construction and craft skills. Furthermore, my other charities are basing training activities on the estate and in the neighbouring community. As a result, we are now providing job opportunities for young people from families which have seen 3 generations of unemployment. Now, as you probably know, ladies and gentlemen, in 2008 we passed a rather frightening milestone. Frightening because there is a real danger of creating unlivable, unmanageable and unsustainable slums for the future if we continue with business as usual, as more than half of the world's population is now living in cities. In already predominantly urbanized countries, such as the United Kingdom and the United States of America, we have had to learn from recent mistakes of urban planning that have created disconnected ghettos or soulless estates, and tackle how to remake proper, harmonious, vibrant and mixed places for people and with people. These lessons are also critically relevant to rapidly urbanizing parts of the world, which are, in contrast, challenged with making cities. China alone, for instance, is on course to have more than 220 cities, each with a population of more than 1 million, by 2030. My hope, therefore, is that this conference might succeed in building a common agenda that speaks not just to the problems of post-industrial cities, but to the challenge of city building in a post-industrial era. To do this, there is an urgent need to rediscover those enduring principles of urban design and planning that have stood the test of time and, incidentally, produce added value. Why else is it, for instance, that the St James's and Mayfair areas of London, or the beautifully planned street squares and mansion blocks of Bath and Edinburgh, are still the most sought after and valuable urban areas? Meanwhile, others are crammed into dysfunctional and dreadful housing estates or tower blocks that demean the human spirit and ignore our inbuilt need for harmony and proportion. We have a chance now to do a better job for people, which I intend to do wherever I can with the aid of my foundation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it would be nice to think you might join me in this vital task, even if I'm getting older and more decrepit. Well, I've been fortunate enough to become a grandfather this year, and this happy event has only reinforced my determination to do all that I can to avoid handing our generation's problems onto our grandchildren. The issues you will discuss over the next few days are of crucial concern to future generations. So let's not fail them.